I got an email from Donald, a retired American who came to Malaysia for a peaceful life, but found himself trapped in a nightmare marriage. Today, Donald wants to share his story in his own words, not to seek sympathy, but to warn other retirees who dream of finding love overseas. I never thought I'd start over at 65. After 4 decades of hard work in the States, I sold my small house in Florida, packed up what was left of my life, and came to Malaysia under the MM2H program. Warm weather, friendly people, good health care, and affordable living. That was what all the blogs promised. But deep down, I came for something more. I was lonely. My wife had passed away years ago, my kids were busy with their own lives, and the silence of retirement was slowly killing me. In Kuala Lumpur, everything felt new. The mornings were filled with sunlight and the smell of rain-soaked streets. I bought a small condo near Bukit Bintang, high enough to see the city lights at night. It felt like freedom. For the first time in years, I thought I could live again, maybe even love again. One night, out of curiosity and boredom, I wandered into a small pub not far from my condo. The place was dimly lit, full of laughter and music. I ordered a beer and sat quietly in the corner. That's when I saw her, Penny. She was lively, graceful, with a bright smile and a sparkle in her eyes. She looked to be in her early 30s, much younger than me, but not like a teenager. She came over, asked if I was new, and started chatting with me like we'd known each other for years. "You're from America? Wow, that's far. You retired here." "Yes," I said with a laugh, "trying to find a peaceful life." She smiled. "Then you came to the right place. Malaysia, very peaceful and full of good people." Her voice was warm. Her English was simple but sweet. We talked for hours that night. She told me she was non-Muslim from a small town in Perak and working in Kuala Lumpur to support her family. She shared a rented apartment with a few girlfriends. She said life wasn't easy, but she always tried to stay cheerful. When I left that night, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Maybe it was her kindness. Maybe it was the way she listened when I spoke. Or maybe I just wanted someone to care. I went back to the pub again the next week, and again the week after. Every time, Penny greeted me with a smile. Sometimes she'd sit beside me. Sometimes she'd hold my hand when the music slowed down. She started calling me Mr. Don, said it sounded cute. Before long, I started looking forward to seeing her more than anything else. One evening, after a few drinks and a long talk, I finally asked her out properly. "Penny, would you like to have dinner with me?" "Outside the bar?" She giggled, shyly nodded. That night, we had our first dinner together, a small restaurant serving local food. She ordered for me, made sure I tried everything, and laughed when I struggled with chopsticks. I hadn't laughed like that in years. Over the next few weeks, we met often, sometimes at the bar, sometimes outside. She started coming over to my condo to cook dinner. She said, "You eat too much Western food. Not healthy. I cook for you, okay?" And she did. Curry chicken, fried noodles, soup with vegetables. She said they were her mother's recipes. After dinner, she massaged my shoulders, hold my hand, and whisper, "I take care of you, hubby." She called me hubby before we were even married. It made me laugh, but it also melted my heart. For the first time since my wife passed, I felt wanted, needed. After a few weeks, I learned more about her life. She lived in a small shared apartment with 3 other girls, barely enough space for everyone. She said it was noisy, crowded, and uncomfortable. I thought about her kindness, her cooking, her gentle voice. I thought about how lonely I was in my condo every night. So one evening, as we sat on the balcony watching the city lights, I said, "Penny, why don't you move in with me? You don't have to live in that cramped room anymore. I have space here. You'll be more comfortable." She looked surprised at first, then smiled shyly. "You really want me to stay?" "Of course. I like having you here. You make this place feel like home." The next week, she brought her clothes, some small boxes, and moved in. From that day on, everything changed. She woke up early, cooked breakfast, packed lunch for me, cleaned the house, washed my clothes, things I hadn't experienced in years. She'd hum old love songs while she worked, sometimes dance around the living room. Every night, she'd curl up beside me, hold my hand, and whisper how lucky she felt. I told myself I was lucky too. At 65, I'd found someone who cared. Someone who didn't judge my age, who made me feel young again. When we walked outside together, she'd hold my arm proudly, like she was showing the world I was hers. My friends from the expat group teased me. "Donald, careful. These girls can be dangerous." But I brushed it off. They didn't know Penny like I did. She was different, sweet, simple, genuine. Sometimes she'd look at me and say, "Hubby, you must promise, no matter what happened, you won't leave me, okay? You're my everything." Her words touched me. I'd nod and hold her hand. How could I leave someone who gave me warmth when I thought I'd grow old alone? At night, when she lay beside me, I'd watch her sleep and whisper to myself, maybe this is love's second chance. Maybe God finally gave me someone. I didn't know then that what I thought was love would one day become the biggest trap of my life. It happened one quiet evening, the kind that feels almost magical. Penny had cooked my favorite curry, set the table with candles, and played soft music in the background. She wore a light pink dress and smiled at me with those warm eyes that always made me feel young again. After dinner, she came over, sat beside me on the couch, and gently leaned her head on my shoulder. Her hand found mine, and without a word, she whispered, "Hubby, I want to show you how much I love you." That night, we shared our first moment of true closeness, something deep, passionate, and tender. I thought it would be just a sweet memory, a natural step in love. But from that day onward, everything began to change. Penny's desire for closeness was unlike anything I had ever known. She wanted to be near me constantly, every morning, every night. She would reach for my hand, kiss me softly, and whisper, "Hubby, I want to feel you close to me always." At first, I felt flattered. At my age, to be wanted so deeply by a younger, beautiful woman, it made me feel alive again. I thought it was love, pure and passionate. So, I tried my best to make her happy. But as days passed, I began to realize that her longing never rested. Even when I felt tired, she would hug me from behind, kiss my neck, and say, "You still love me, right?" Then hold me close. I didn't want to disappoint her. She had given me warmth and joy. How could I say no? So I kept trying, telling myself that this was what love was meant to be: giving, sharing, pleasing. But slowly, I began to feel the toll. My energy faded faster than before. Some mornings, I woke up exhausted, my heart beating faster than usual. One afternoon, Penny came home holding a small box of pills. She smiled and said, "Hubby, these are good for your health. Vitamins, natural supplements. You take one every day, you'll feel strong and young again." I hesitated, but she pressed the box into my hand and added softly, "I want you to stay healthy for me. Please." Her voice melted my doubts. I began taking one every morning. And at first, I really did feel a change. My strength returned, my energy lifted. Penny was overjoyed. She hugged me tight and said, "See, you're my strong hubby. I'm so lucky." For a while, I believed everything was perfect. We spent more time together, laughing, holding hands, enjoying the simple moments. But as weeks turned into months, something inside me began to shift. I started feeling lightheaded after meals, sometimes dizzy in the mornings. There were nights I woke up sweating, my heart pounding. But Penny would smile and say, "It's just the weather, darling. You need more rest." I trusted her. I thought it was just age catching up to me. And every time I doubted myself, she would wrap her arms around me and whisper, "You're the only one who makes me feel safe. You're my everything." Those words always silenced my worries. I wanted to believe she truly loved me. Over time, Penny grew more possessive. She always wanted to know where I was, who I met. If I went to the expat club, she'd frown and say, "So many women there. I don't want anyone to take you away." Sometimes when I mentioned meeting old friends, she'd say, "Why need friends? You have me. I'm your family now." I thought it was just her way of showing love. Maybe she was insecure. But little by little, my world became smaller. My days revolved around her. Her meals, her moods, her affection. Even my health routine was in her hands. The pills she gave me every morning, the vitamins she said I needed. Whenever I forgot to take one, she would quickly remind me, "Hubby, don't forget your supplement. You must stay strong." So I took them every day, faithfully, believing they were for my own good. But my body kept changing. I couldn't walk as far as before. I felt tired faster, sometimes short breath. Still, I kept quiet. I told myself this is love. Maybe love requires sacrifice. Penny's passion never faded. Each night, she reached for me, her eyes full of longing. Even when I felt weak, her touch made me forget everything. I thought, if this is what she needs to feel loved, I'll give it to her. Yet, deep down, a small voice whispered that something wasn't right. Her affection felt more like possession. Her concern felt more like control. But I ignored it because when you're lonely, even a dangerous love can feel like salvation. Sometimes I'd catch her watching me while I rested, silent, expression unreadable. I'd ask, "What are you thinking?" She'd just smile and say, "I'm thinking how lucky I am. You're my whole world." And I'd smile back, even as my heart grew uneasy. I told myself, "Donald, stop overthinking. She loves you. Be grateful." So I kept taking the pills, kept giving her everything I could. Weeks passed. My reflection in the mirror looked different, paler, more tired. But Penny would laugh, stroke my hair, and say, "You still look handsome, hubby." My strong man. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. Love can blind you, especially when it fills a void you've carried for years. I thought her passion was proof of love. But slowly, I was becoming a man trapped by his own desire and hers. I didn't realize that the thing I thought kept our love alive might one day be the very thing that destroyed me. It was a quiet morning when Penny came to me, tears streaming down her face. Her hands trembled as she held mine, her eyes red and frightened. "Hubby, I have something to tell you," she whispered, voice shaking. "I'm pregnant." For a moment, I froze. Her words echoed in my head. Pregnant? I was stunned, overwhelmed, unsure whether to smile or panic. But before I could speak, she broke down completely. "I'm so scared, hubby. My parents, they'll be angry. They'll say I'm shameful if I'm not married. They'll think I'm a bad daughter." She covered her face, sobbing uncontrollably. My heart ached seeing her like that. I'd spent years alone, dreaming of a family, someone to love, and now she carried what she said was our child. It felt like destiny. I reached out, held her close. "Don't cry, Penny. You're not alone. I'll take responsibility. We'll get married. I'll protect you and our baby." She looked up, her tears glistening like morning rain. You mean it?" "Of course," I said firmly. "We'll do it properly. You and me, a family." From that day, she was radiant. She told her parents the news, and soon they came all the way from another state to Kuala Lumpur. They were humble folks, polite, a little shy around me at first. But when they realized I was from America, retired, and stable, their faces lit up with pride. At the wedding dinner, her father raised a glass, smiling ear to ear. "My daughter married a foreigner from America. So kind, so generous. We're so proud." Her mother nodded, her voice full of joy. "All the neighbors back home will be jealous. Our daughter found a good man." Everyone clapped and cheered. Penny beamed, her hand clutching mine, her eyes full of triumph. I could see how much this meant to her. The respect, the admiration, the face she gained among her relatives and friends. In that moment, I felt happy too. Maybe love had finally blessed me. A wife, a family, a new beginning. We settled into married life. Penny played the part of a devoted wife, always smiling, always calling me hubby. She would touch her belly and say softly, "Our baby will be so cute, maybe with your eyes." I believed every word. I bought baby clothes, a small crib, even started planning a little nursery room. I thought, this is it. My golden years will be filled with laughter and love. But one evening, a few months later, everything shattered. I was out buying groceries when my phone rang. It was Penny, her voice trembling, panicked. "Hubby, something happened." I slipped in the bathroom. "What? Are you okay?" I'm bleeding. I called the ambulance. "I'm so scared." The line went silent. My heart stopped. I dropped everything and rushed to the hospital, my hands shaking as I drove. Every second felt like an eternity. When I arrived, They told me she was already in the emergency room. I waited outside, pacing the hallway, praying over and over, please let them both be okay. Please. After what felt like forever, a nurse came out. Sir, your wife is stable. But, I'm sorry, the baby didn't survive. My knees almost gave out. Tears filled my eyes as I whispered, no, no, please. They let me see her. She was lying in bed, pale, eyes swollen from crying. When she saw me, she reached for my hand, sobbing. Hubby, I'm so sorry. I tried to be careful. I didn't want to lose our baby. I held her hand tightly, trying to be strong. It's not your fault, Penny. Don't blame yourself. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. That night, I sat beside her hospital bed, holding her hand as she slept. My heart broke for both of us, for the baby we lost, for the dream that vanished before it began. Over the next few days, friends visited, offering condolences. Her parents called, crying over the phone, saying it must be fate. Penny stayed quiet most of the time, acting fragile and heartbroken. I did everything I could to comfort her. Cooked her meals, cleaned the house, bought her flowers. I told her, we'll be okay, Penny. We'll heal together. Maybe someday, we'll try again. She just nodded softly, leaning into my chest, whispering, you're the best, hubby. I don't deserve you. I thought it was love, shared pain, shared healing. But behind her tears was a truth I didn't see. Penny had never been pregnant. Not once. While I dreamed of a family, she took birth control pills every day, secretly. The pregnancy was just part of her plan to make me commit, to marry her, to secure a future. The hospital visit? Just a setup, a performance. She had called the ambulance after cutting her finger slightly, just enough to look dramatic. The nurses believed her story, and I, blinded by love, believed everything. To the world, she was a devoted wife who lost her child. To her family, she was a daughter who brought honor and pride. And to me, I was the man who thought he'd found love, when all I'd found was a carefully woven lie. I didn't know it then, but that miscarriage was only the beginning of a much darker truth, one that would slowly destroy everything I believed in. After the miscarriage, Penny often talked about the future. She would lean on my shoulder at night, her voice soft and full of dreams. Hubby, maybe we should plan something long-term. A business, something for our future baby when we try again. I smiled weakly. What kind of business are you thinking about? Her eyes lit up. My hometown friend, Terry, he runs a small car workshop. He's really hardworking, but short on money. If we invest, he can expand. It's a stable business. Cars always need repair, right? We can share profit every month. I hesitated. I'd always been careful with money, especially after retirement. Running a workshop isn't easy, and I don't know much about cars. Penny immediately frowned, her tone turning emotional. But hubby, I'm thinking of us. I want us to have something in Malaysia, something for our future. Don't you want to build a legacy here? I looked at her eyes, full of hope, full of tears, and she whispered softly, you said you'll take care of me, of our baby. Even though the baby's gone, we can still build something together. That word, baby, hit me hard. I wanted to make her happy, to see her smile again after the pain we went through. Okay, I said finally. Let's go see the place first. Her face brightened instantly. She threw her arms around me. Thank you, hubby. You'll see it's a good deal. Terry will show you everything. A week later, we drove to her hometown. Her parents welcomed us warmly, proud that their daughter brought her foreign husband back home again. The next morning, Terry came to pick us up. He was in his mid-30s, slim, polite, with oil stains on his shirt. Looked like a hard-working mechanic. I remembered him from our wedding. One of the guests who smiled and shook my hand. Hi, Mr. Donald. He greeted cheerfully. Thank you for coming. Let me show you my little workshop. We followed him down a small road to a corner shop lot. It was a modest place. 2 cars inside, 1 outside, tools scattered, mechanics working with music playing in the background. The air smelled of grease and engine oil. Terry walked us through the place with excitement. Business is good, sir. We have more customers than space. If we can expand next door, buy more equipment, I can hire 2 more workers. I'm sure we can double the income. I watched the activity, Cars coming in, customers chatting, workers busy. It did look real. Penny held my arm tightly, whispering, "See, hubby, he just needs a little help. We can earn steady profit every month. It's not risky." Terry showed me a handwritten business plan, simple but convincing. Projected monthly profit, cost for renovation, expected returns. I asked, "How much do you need?" Terry smiled shyly. "Around RM 150,000. I can manage the business. You just invest. I'll handle everything, and we'll share profits 60 to 40. I hesitated again. It was a big amount, but Penny squeezed my hand, eyes full of pleading. "Please, hubby. I trust him. It's for our family." In that moment, I gave in. I thought, maybe this is what marriage is, building together, trusting each other. A week later, I transferred the money to Terry's account. He sent me a message thanking me, promising updates. Penny hugged me that night, tears of joy in her eyes. "You're the best husband. I'm so lucky to have you." For a while, I felt proud. I believed I was doing the right thing. Every few weeks, Penny would show me photos of the workshop's renovation, saying business was improving. But I never saw the actual accounts or returns. Whenever I asked, she'd smile and say, "Don't worry, Terry's handling everything. You'll see the profits soon." But slowly, things changed. Penny began spending more. Designer handbags, new clothes, expensive dinners, frequent trips back to her hometown. Whenever I asked about it, she'd say, "I deserve to treat myself once in a while, right? I've been through so much." I noticed my savings slowly shrinking, and I still hadn't seen a single cent of profit from the workshop. I wanted to ask Terry directly, but Penny always stopped me. "Hubby, don't be rude. He's working hard, just give him time." Meanwhile, my health began to weaken. The pills she gave me every morning, the vitamins, made me dizzy, tired, sometimes even short of breath. But Penny insisted, "You must take them, hubby. They're good for your strength. You want to stay strong, right?" I didn't want to disappoint her, so I kept taking them. Every night, she'd still ask for closeness, her passion endless, her energy burning, while I struggled to keep up. I told myself it was love, real love, that she truly wanted me. But deep down, something didn't feel right. Sometimes, when she thought I was asleep, she would text someone secretly, whispering softly in the dark. I want her name, Terry. When I asked her about it the next day, she laughed it off. "You're imagining things, hubby. I was just checking business updates." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her, because I'd already given her my heart, and now a large part of my savings, too. Weeks passed. Still no profit from the workshop. Still more spending. Still the same dizzy spells from the pills. One evening, as I looked at my bank balance, fear crept into my chest. I realized how much I had already poured into this marriage, emotionally and financially. And yet, I felt emptier than ever. But when I saw Penny smiling at me, calling me hubby, holding my hand sweetly, I pushed the doubts away. She loves me, I told myself. She wouldn't hurt me. I didn't know then the people I trusted most, my wife and her business partner, were sharing more than just a dream. They were sharing a secret that would soon break my heart completely. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon when everything changed. Penny was in the shower, humming softly, her phone left on the table. Normally, I never checked her messages. I believed in trust. But that day, the screen lit up with a notification. A message from Terry. Curiosity turned into dread as I saw the words. "Miss you, my love. Can't wait to hold you again." My hands trembled. I unlocked the phone. The chat history scrolled open, and my heart sank. There are photos of them together in a cafe, holding hands. Voice messages of her whispering sweetly. And worse, plans to meet again when I was away in KL. My vision blurred. The room felt cold. I couldn't breathe. When Penny stepped out of the bathroom, towel around her shoulders, she saw my face, pale, shaking, phone in hand. "What's this?" I asked, voice breaking. "Who is Terry to you?" Her eyes widened. For a second, her mask slipped. Then tears rushed down her face. She ran to me, knelt on the floor, clutching my legs. "Hubby, please don't misunderstand. He's just my old friend. We grew up together. He's like a brother." "A brother?" I shouted, holding up the phone. Then what's this? I love you. Can't wait to hold you. What kind of brother says that? She cried harder, shaking her head. He's joking. I swear I don't love him. I only love you, hubby. Please believe me. I can't live without you. Her sobs echoed in the room. I wanted to scream, to walk away, but my chest felt heavy, my mind confused. I looked into her tear-streaked face, trembling hands, desperate eyes. Part of me still wanted to believe her. I thought of our wedding, her parents' proud smiles, our shared moments, and the pills she gave me each morning for health. Was it all a lie? Yet she clung to me, crying, promising she would change. She swore she would stop talking to Terry, that she only wanted me. Please, hubby, don't leave me. You're my life. I felt torn apart. I wanted to believe love could be forgiven. I told myself, maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe I overreacted. That night, she came to me again, gentle and affectionate. She whispered, "Let's not fight anymore. Let's start over." And like a fool, I gave in. We shared another night of closeness, but it felt different now. Her touch felt cold. My heart was no longer at peace. The next morning, she handed me the usual pills with a sweet smile. "Don't forget, hubby. These help you stay strong." I swallowed them, though doubt now lingered in my mind. Were they really helping or hurting me? Weeks passed. My body grew weaker. I woke up tired, dizzy, sometimes trembling for no reason. My appetite faded. My strength vanished. Every time I mentioned seeing a doctor, Penny would say, "You're fine, hubby. Just rest more. Don't stress." But deep inside, I knew something was wrong. Meanwhile, my bank account continued to shrink. No profit ever came from the workshop. Bills piled up, expenses rose, and Penny's spending never slowed. She said everything was for the house, for family, for love. I started to feel trapped, not just by money, but by confusion, shame, and exhaustion. One night, unable to sleep, I joined an online expat forum. I typed a question anonymously. What happens if a foreigner wants to divorce in Malaysia? The replies came fast, and each one crushed me a little more. It's possible, but long and costly. You need a lawyer, at least a year. If the property is under your name, she can still make claims. If she denies wrongdoing, you must prove everything. I stared at the screen, my heart sinking deeper with every comment. I was old, tired, sick. How could I fight a legal battle in a foreign country? I reached out to a few expat friends over coffee, testing the waters. "What would you do?" I asked, voice low. "If your wife might be cheating?" They looked at me with concern. One said gently, "Be careful, Donald. I've seen this before. Some women, they trap foreigners. Don't ignore the signs." I nodded silently, pretending to be calm, but inside, I was breaking. Each day, Penny still called me hubby, still cooked my meals, still kissed my cheek, and still gave me those pills. I began to feel like a puppet, controlled by affection and fear. I wanted to leave, yet I couldn't. I didn't know where to go or how to start over. My pride kept me silent. I couldn't tell my family back in America. How could I admit I'd been fooled by love? At night, when she slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling, feeling the weight of my mistakes. I came to Malaysia, chasing peace and love. Now, I was a prisoner in my own home, too weak to fight, too ashamed to speak, too scared to leave. Was it love or poison that tied me to her? And as my health faded and my savings disappeared, one haunting question echoed in my mind. If I die tomorrow, will Penny even cry? For weeks, my body grew weaker. Climbing stairs made me breathless. At night, my heart raced so fast I thought it might stop. Penny always said, "You need my vitamins, hubby," handed me the same white pills each morning. I trusted her until one day, a voice inside whispered, "Something isn't right." When she went out to meet a friend, I slipped a few pills into an envelope and went to a private clinic. The doctor listened carefully, ran tests, and asked to analyze the pills. Days later, I sat across from him as he frowned at the report. "Mr. Donald, these pills are not vitamins. They're strong stimulants, harmful for elderly patients. Taken daily, they can damage your liver, strain your heart. Long-term use could even be fatal." I froze. "You mean these could kill me?" He nodded. "Yes. Whoever gave you these either doesn't know the danger or doesn't care. My hands trembled. The room blurred. Penny, the woman I loved, was slowly poisoning me. I left the clinic in a daze, walking through the crowded street feeling like a ghost. Everything around me, the noise, the cars, the laughter, faded. Inside, I was hollow, but I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to be sure. I stopped taking the pills, secretly flushing them away each morning. Within a week, I began to feel better, clearer, stronger, calmer. The truth sharpened in my mind. I started watching her closely. Her late-night messages, her sudden phone calls, her frequent trips to visit her parents. And then one night, when she said she was going out with friends, I followed. From a distance, I saw her enter a quiet cafe. There, sitting across from her, was Terry. They smiled, touched hands, leaned close, whispered. At one moment, she brushed his hair, and he kissed her forehead. My heart cracked open. The man I trusted, the one she called just a friend. It was all a lie. I turned away before they could see me, walking aimlessly through the streets. I wanted to scream, but no sound came. Every memory, her wedding tears, her pregnancy, her soft kisses, flashed before me like a cruel movie. All fake, all planned. I thought about running, leaving, filing for divorce. But when I reached home that night, she was already there, cooking, smiling, her voice soft and warm. Hubby, you're back. I made your favorite soup. You look tired. Take your pills after dinner, okay? She came close, kissed my cheek, her eyes full of love. If I hadn't known the truth, I would have believed her again. I forced a smile, nodded, and excused myself to shower. In the bathroom, I stared into the mirror. The reflection staring back was a broken man, loving a woman who wanted him dead. Each day after that felt like living in a dream or a trap. She'd wake me with gentle kisses, hold my hand in public, tell friends how much she loved her American husband. But I now saw the lies hidden behind her smile. When she gave me the pills, I faked swallowing them. When she hugged me, I froze inside. Yet I couldn't leave. Not yet, because despite everything, part of me still loved her. At night, I lay awake beside her, wondering, how can someone so sweet on the outside hide such darkness inside? I began gathering evidence quietly. Photos, bank transfers, the doctor's report. I met with a lawyer, explained everything. Mr. Donald, he said, you have a strong case, fake pregnancy, financial fraud, medical harm. But divorce will be slow, painful, and costly. Are you ready? I sighed. I don't know if I have the strength. He looked at me gently. Then rest first. Don't let her destroy what's left of your health. That night, I went home again. She greeted me with a hug, asked, you went out again? You were too hard, hubby. I'll take care of you. Trust me. Her words, once comforting, now cut deep. I smiled weakly, hiding the storm in my chest. Now, as I write this letter, she's asleep beside me, peaceful, beautiful, dangerous. I can smell her perfume, hear her soft breathing. And I wonder, how did love become poison? I came to Malaysia for peace, for love, for a second chance at happiness. But in love, I lost my health, my money, and nearly my life. I gave everything, trust, care, forgiveness, and received lies, manipulation, and betrayal. Now I sit here, trapped between love and truth, wondering what to do next. Should I fight and expose her lies? Or should I walk away quietly, accept the loss, and rebuild my life alone? She says she loves me still, but I now know she loves my wallet more. So I ask you, if you were me, what would you do? Would you forgive her or fight back?